so I can get into the college this year. I don't want to get back and go back in another year. I just want to be being in a row with this shit. You know, I just want to get this done, and I just want to go to college.
25-year-old Ado Duop, known by friends and family as Adele, was a devoted mother of two who loved to vlog with her young sons on their family YouTube channel, showering the boys with kisses in some videos and displaying her passion for makeup and hair care in others. She also worked 2 jobs as an in-home caregiver while taking classes at Mount Hood Community College to become a nurse. Ado was born in Kenya to South Sudanese parents and grew up in North Portland with her family in the early 2000s. Her family was a part of the local refugee community, and they were actively involved with the Center for African and Refugee Organization, also known as Cairo. She was known as a person who always had your back if you had a problem, a trustworthy friend, and someone who never judged anyone. She was also set to get married soon. Around 10:40 p.m., Ado, her fiancé, and 2 young sons were driving down the 128th block of Southeast Foster Road. Simultaneously, she would post a video on Snapchat that showed her listening to music in the car as her fiancé drove back to their apartment. Then, out of nowhere, the sounds of gunshots rang out.
4 people were shot in their car, leaving 1 woman dead. Portland police have identified that woman as 25-year-old Ado Duop of Portland. Her partner and 2 children were also injured in Sunday's shooting. The 2 children, ages 1 and 5, have been released from the hospital while their father remains in critical condition.
Portland Police Lieutenant Nathan Shepard said that it's too early in the investigation to know definitively whether the shooting was targeted or random. Ado's fiancé, as well as her 2 young sons, were injured. Her fiancé, who was initially in critical condition, suffered a serious gunshot wound but is expected to survive. The couple's 1-year-old son was shot in the arm, and their 5-year-old son was shot in the leg. The boys were released from a hospital this week. Surveillance video from a liquor store appeared to capture the shooting, showing 3 cars moving east on Foster Road at 10:36 p.m. as a light turns green at 128th Avenue. A white SUV travels in the outer lane next to Ado's tan SUV, which swerves left through a turn lane before slowly coming to a stop in the oncoming west lane of traffic outside the family's apartment complex. The white SUV quickly continues out of view on Foster Road. The video also shows 2 other drivers parking their cars and several residents from the Foster Plaza apartments coming outside to check on Ado and her family. Neighbors directed traffic around the bullet-ridden SUV until police arrived about 5 minutes later. The street-facing units of the complex where Ado lived were dotted with bullet holes and evidence markers Monday morning. Ado's family is shocked and afraid, as loved ones had no idea why someone would want to harm her or her fiancé.
We didn't expect that.
No one expects it. A phone call or door knock with a message your loved one has been murdered. Ado Duop's family certainly never expected such horrific news here in the United States and in Portland, Oregon, of all places.
And we try to take one day at a time.
Ado's brother-in-law introduced us to her mother, Deborah.
Hello.
Look at the pain in her face. This is a woman who a decade ago took her children and escaped a brutal civil war in Sudan. Her family lived in a refugee camp in Kenya. Ado was born in that camp. They were eventually selected to move to the U.S., where Deborah believed they would find peace and safety.
That is why they come here, to be safe, to be in a safe place, better their life, But no one knew that gun violence, other violence, acts of violence would resolve in this tragic event. Yeah. She says she didn't know that her daughter can be killed by guns. And the same gun that just, many South Sudanese, many Africans, force them to leave their homes and resettle.
Ado was the 18th homicide in Portland this year. An online fundraiser set up by her oldest son's school has raised over $15,000 for funeral expenses, medical bills, and both sons' future education. A close friend of Ado said she hopes she's remembered as a wonderful mother, sister, and friend, not just another person killed on Portland's streets. A police investigation into the murder is still ongoing.
We spoke with Cairo Program Manager Maxwell Olwa, who says the whole refugee community is mourning the loss of one of its members. He says the family was very supportive and active in the child's education and frequently at the center on a day-to-day basis. Olwa says staff and other families are extremely shaken up by this tragedy and the crime that surrounds our city today, adding that everyone is in fear, even young ones.
Traumatized. There's a lot of fear. You might not think that young kids are not aware of what is going on, and it will be very difficult even for the time that this kid will go back to school and having to explain to other kids that he was shot and that he lost his mom.
Now, Cairo's founding executive director tells us the center is going to do whatever they can do to support the family, but adds that no type of support will be able to wash away this lifetime of trauma these kids have endured.